First, I wish I would have done this yesterday. I want to thank you guys for being here. I remember playing in a time where there wasn't media that was coming out to games and just had as much interest as it does now. And when I think about you guys being here and I think about the number of fans that we had yesterday and we had today, it just amazes me at how much softball has grown. And specifically, I love that it's grown at the University of Kentucky. So it's just, that's pretty cool for me. As far as the game is concerned, I don't believe the score was indicative of how tight that game was the majority of the time. I thought our team did a great job fighting and staying in the game. I thought that their team did as well. And then, it came down to, at first, we just got we got some runners on. We were having a hard time at first, but then we were able to break through with kind of a bloop hit. And that kind of just, for us, it kind of opened the floodgates. Our base running, we did a great job with that. And I was just really proud of our team for continuing to fight. I also thought Grace did a great job on the mound. When we had people on base, she did a nice job of coming up with some quality pitches, and then our defense, again, held strong. So overall, I thought it was a great game for us, and again, I can't stress enough, I think Virginia Tech is such a good team, and I don't believe the score was indicative of how good that game really was.
We'll now open it up for questions.
So were you just messing with us yesterday? Did you know that Grace was going to pitch the whole time, even you were sitting here talking, and then when it started, I think she gave up 5 hits in 3 innings. Were you sitting there scratching your head any and all about that?
No. First of all, if you know anything about me, I don't really lie. So, in fact, it's bad. I usually get in trouble for telling the truth all the time. So, anyway, no. When you're dealing, see, Grace is an artist, so you really don't know what you're going to get from day to day. I knew she'd been feeling good, but the thing about her soreness is she really hasn't had a hard bullpen since the last time she was out. And so we just spun things and we did it. She did a little bit more yesterday, but you didn't know if she was going to get inflamed or what the case was going to be today. So I wanted to make sure that I waited for tomorrow. Obviously, I planned for all of our pitchers, including Grace. I was hopeful that she would be ready today. And again, when you're playing a team like Virginia Tech, you don't know that the game's going to go that way. So I had to prepare for to play 2 games today. And I think you have to go deep in the pitching staff. So anyway, I had an idea she was going to pitch. I was hopeful she would pitch, but I really didn't know.
In a couple of our conversations, you always say that the biggest thing you stress for your hitters is quality at bats. You all faced the reigning ACC pitcher today, and you look patient from my point of view. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I was really happy about. So when we came out first inning, it was just bad, right? We come down, she really did such a good job. She mowed us over, and I was like, okay, there's the ACC pitcher of the year. And what I was so proud of our team for doing is they didn't let that inning define the next inning or the rest of the game. And what they did is they just learned from those at-bats, the people behind them positioned themselves better, they angled better, they were able to pick up the pitcher better. And I was just really happy that they continued to stress it. They didn't let things worry them. They continued to play their game and they stayed in the moment.
Mark Berman, the Roanoke Times in Virginia. Kayla, you had 3 hits today. What would help you get the ball in the bat against Emberley today?
What I really try and focus on is I kind of go up with the same approach every time, and it's really just like setting your vision, and it helps a lot. Just starting with BP and setting your vision, setting like your goals and stuff like that. And we had a really good scout, and we knew what to hunt for, and that really contributed to success.
What were you hunting for?
I was hunting for just something that was mid-thigh in my zone, preferably outside, and luckily she hung a couple pitches that I was able to capitalize on.
And they appreciate the scout you just gave us. Good job. That was good for a freshman.
Grace, you weren't entirely sure you were even going to be able to play today, yet you throw 94 pitches against 27 batters. I mean, how do you feel right now? Is the fatigue in yet, or?
I'm not really sure yet. We'll see how it feels tomorrow, but I'm hopeful that it'll feel good tomorrow, and I'll be ready to help our team out tomorrow too.
Grace, at what point did you actually know you were going to get the start? And are you the kind of person who likes to have a little bit of advance notice, or does that matter to you?
It doesn't really matter to me. Like all year, we know a couple hours before the game. I think all of our pitchers are ready to go at any moment, so it doesn't really matter to us. We're ready to face any team that throw at us.
Jenny, in our conversations before, you've talked about how you scoring runs is sort of like a calming factor. And so when you drove in those couple of runs that you had today, how much did that help that team settle down and really get into the groove that you all had?
I think that was huge because at that point it was only 1-0, which against a team that's as good as Virginia Tech, you know, you need more than one run. And so I went up with the approach of just, there was runners all over the place, so I was like, just drive in one, and tried my best to stay in the at-bat and compete until I got a pitch I could hit.
Grace, Coach kind of mentioned this, but the game flipped in the 4th and 5th innings, and the game, it was a totally different game to pitch, I imagine. How does your approach change over the course of the game?
You know, you could really go out and attack hitters in. You got a big run lead, so you just go out and attack hitters. You're playing for outs, so it really helps me attack the zone and not worry about them hitting the long ball, because if it hit the long ball, it's only 1 run. So it's nice to be able to attack the zone and be really comfortable with that.
Kayla, I was just wondering, did you watch your mother bail out after the first inning? And is that normal for her to do something like that? To change karma, I think she called it.
No, I didn't notice her bailout. I don't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff, but knowing my mother, that is something that tends to happen. And if it works, it works.
So she went out and sat right behind you in center field, so you didn't hear anything out there?
I didn't notice her. I noticed my sister out in center field, but it's something normal that she does, that she just gets away and just to take a breather and not stress out so much.
Rachel, obviously, you know, in this format, winning those first 2 games is so important. That way you kind of have a little more cushion on Sunday. Was that something you stressed to the players pregame, that you want that 2-0 advantage going into Sunday?
No, I don't really do that. I think in order for me to continue to impress upon them to stay in the moment, I think I'd be sending the wrong message if I said, okay, we got to go 2-0, but by the way, stay in the moment. So for us, I think it's a better approach for us just to enjoy each individual moment, each at-bat, each pitch. And hopefully if we do a bunch of that, it will add up and we'll get the result that we did today. So that's not something. The nice thing about my team is they're smart. They know what they need to do. In fact, most of the time I'm trying to dumb them down. Be like, hey, it's not that big a deal, really. When I know they know better.
This is questions for Kayla. You've made 2 spectacular catches the last 2 days. Can you just kind of comment on that and maybe kind of talk a little bit about what's going through your head when that happens?
What's going through my head is that catch the ball one. It's taken a lot of work. If you would have seen some of my catches or not catches at the beginning of the season, I would have never expected that I would be making these plays now. It's just like a lot of hard work, and a lot of time with the coaches helping me out, as well as like everybody else, and the girls right beside me letting me know, here's what you do, here's what you don't do. And so in the end, it just becomes routine, and something like that doesn't really faze you.
How much of a challenge was it to move from being behind the plate to being at the farthest distance from it?
I would say perspective-wise, it was a big change, but I was willing to make that because in the end, I do love softball, and however I can get on the field and contribute, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and so it really wasn't that difficult for me. It really wasn't that hard.
Hi, Jenny. I didn't realize that Kayla was as fast as she is. Larry Ball tells me that she's fastest person on the team. Is she faster than Bailey?
Depends on the day. I don't know. I think if you put them in a foot race, I don't know who would win.
I think it depends on the type of race. Like if it was just a teeny short distance, I think Bailey would win that one. But I think if you let Kayla stretch it out into about a 100-meter dash, I think Kayla would win it. So I think for the sport of softball, I still think Bailey holds the crown. Maybe.
Kayla, imagine when you were recruited here, this is probably something you dreamed of, a regional, beautiful day in May, packed crowd. Has this lived up to the expectations of what you kind of dreamed of when you were coming out of high school?
Most definitely, maybe even exceeded my expectations. Coming in, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I'd been to a couple games, and it was always really hype. It was always great. Amazing plays were always made. and I expected the exact same thing coming in, and it is like my biggest dream to now participate and also make big plays and do big things.
Grace, you pitched out of a number of jams early in the game when it was still a close game. What was kind of your mindset with runners on base today?
Just not to worry about like giving up a hit. Just go at the next batter, try to spin it, try to get them to fly out, ground out. Just to keep working and try not to get into my head that hey, they got a hit, it's okay. Just go at the next batter.
And Jenny, obviously, when you guys started getting those clutch hits and bringing people home in the 4th and 5th innings, had you guys made some adjustments on Everly? Did it help kind of seeing her a few times when you guys started rolling there?
Yeah, definitely. I think even early in the game, we weren't necessarily scoring runs, but I think we were seeing a lot of pitches, and you know, we had people squaring the ball up left and right, and then I just knew it was a matter of time before those things started stringing together and we started putting runs up on the board.
Rachel, could you just talk a little bit about the way that Lauren has been swinging the bat for you lately, especially say compared to this time last year, and what the biggest improvement you've seen in her play this year?
Well, Lauren is somebody that I've always projected is going to be one of our best players. She's so laid back, and I think at times it's not great, but in situations like postseason, I think it's awesome. And you know, Lauren is just such a great athlete. In fact, Lauren belongs in the race with Kayla and Bailey. I think Lauren's as fast as they are. Lauren's incredibly strong as well, but I think she's very competitive. So on the outside, you know, she's just taking everything in stride, but on the inside, I know she wants to win it. And what I have noticed over the last month with Lauren is she's just quietly getting better and better and better. And then probably my favorite play at practice on Thursday was Lauren made this unbelievable dive in right field, and she would not have done that probably a couple months ago. So I think Lauren is finally growing into the player that I've always believed that she could be, and not to put pressure on her, but you know, I expect her to be one of the best players that will come through when all is said and done.
Rachel, this is playing out exactly the way you drew it out on the board. So you've been through a lot of these regionals now. Looking back on your experience between now and tomorrow at 12, can you just take us through what the routine's going to be like?
Well, for the team, I'm hoping they get out of the sun because we haven't really been in the heat all year. So that'll be nice. These are the 2 hottest days we've probably played in. So I think they'll get out of the sun. I hope they hydrate. Make sure you stretch. And they'll get an opportunity to relax. Of course, they have to see who they're going to play. But we'll be watching the video, and you know, I'll be watching games and things like that. And so our staff will watch the next couple of games, and then the players will get to relax, and then we're going to come out tomorrow, give them the game plan in the morning like we always do, and just take it in stride. So I think that's the biggest thing, is to make sure that we're ready to play and rested, well rested.
Any further questions?